Happy New Year, FlossTube. This is Annette from Annette's Acre, and welcome to 2019. Oh, no music today. Sorry. We did something that we never do on New Year's Eve, and that is that we actually went out last night. Now, we didn't go crazy. We weren't out at midnight. We were back home by like 10:30, but we went out to a concert last night to see Home Free, which is a cappella vocal band, I think is what they call it now. So we went out last night, so it made for a more active, more hectic day yesterday than what we usually do on New Year's Eve. So no music today. Things are starting a little slow. I had every intention of recording this yesterday. Unfortunately, Arizona decided to weep its way out of 2018. It was gloomy and rainy and dark all day, which is very unusual for us. This morning was also quite overcast and still trying to rain, but now we're starting to see some blue skies and some sun come out, so we should be good. It is still relatively early. It's only 10:30 or so here. We've managed breakfast. I have the Roses Parade recorded, so once I'm done here and getting this ready to upload, I'll be watching that and finally sitting down with my New Year's start, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. So let's start with some 2018 wrap up. So I've got a few statistics. Since I started keeping track, it's a lot easier to calculate these. So for 2018, I have 30 finishes over the year, which is pretty good. My goal was 18 finishes in 2018, and I made 30. I had 26 starts, though, of which 24 of those were finished within the year. So that was pretty good. I worked on a total of 48 different projects throughout the year, strictly from a stitching perspective. That doesn't count knitting or sewing or anything else, but 48 cross-stitch projects I worked on. I started the year with approximately 54 whips, and I've ended the year as of last night with 50. So I made my goal of having one less on December 31st than I have on January 1st. So that was good. So overall, a successful year. I did have 21 days out of the year where I did not stitch at all. I did not pick up anything, but I had a total of 390 stitch days. Now, how I keep track of how many days I've worked on a whip. In some cases, that could be one stitch on one whip, and that counts as a day. But in some cases, it's also, 6 hours of stitching on a whip on a given day. Those don't happen very often, but they do occasionally. It's still the same. I still count it just as one day. So the fact that I had 390 stitch days means that on approximately 50 days out of the year, I stitched on more than one whip. So, because then that day would be counted twice. So someday I might work that out and do it a little better. But for right now, it meets my needs from a statistical perspective and record keeping. So again, I ended last year with 50 whips. So my goal for 2019 will be 49, at least 49. So hopefully this year I'll break that 50 barrier and continue to kind of slowly work my way around. I do anticipate retiring a few, or putting a few of the whips in timeout so they would no longer count as active whips. But that's kind of cheating, so I'm still hoping to do the one last thing. So. All right, so for the last couple weeks, let's catch you up on the last couple weeks. So the first thing is I had a bit of a startitis, and I started 3 projects a weekend earlier in December. One of those was this one, Miss Penny Penguin's Heart of Christmas. This was my Stitchy Christmas surprise last year from the Bee Sisters, and I'm happy to say that it is now complete. Well, as complete as it's going to be. So here's my finish. This is on 32 count hazelnut Lugana with most of the called for threads. I didn't ultimately end up putting any whisper in on the brim of the hat, and I just wanted it done. I think I'm going to turn this into a stand-up, which is why I left off this this outer border here. So it'll just be a standalone. So that's good. So Miss Penny is completed. The other thing I finished is this counted canvas piece. Sorry, let me use Miss Penny again. So this is a Foxwood Crossings counted canvas. Foxwood Crossings. I want to say this is called Ribbon Star. It's done on 18 count mono canvas using number 5 pearl cotton, just DMC pearl cotton. It's essentially just all satin stitches, and they're really easy to do. So this one is completed. I have the next one all ready to go. And then the last thing that I finished yesterday, late yesterday afternoon, was hands-on design, put on the hat. I'm doing the short stack. So here is the short stack. And this is on the 32 count colonial parchment from Hand-Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. It's using everything that's called for. So this is all done and ready to be short stacked. I will also do the flapjack pillow. So the other pillow, I'll also do that one as well. So just not today. So this actually will end up right back into my kitted projects area. So those were the last 3 finishes of the year that I eked out. And that's what took me to 30 for the overall year. I've had one start since we talked last, and it was a planned start. I started Dark Shards by Ink Circles. So Dark Shards by Ink Circles with a group. There's several of us that started it either on Christmas Day or the day after, Boxing Day, for my Canadian friends. I worked on it on Christmas Day and a little bit the day after. And here's where I got. This is just a bit of the outline. The sucker was infested with frogs. My house is infested with frogs in the month of December. I think I restitched at least 25% of everything that I put in on every project that I touched. It was just, it's been the weirdest thing. So with December being gone now, all the frogs are gone. Think positive with me. All the frogs are gone. So now we can move forward into January, a nice, fresh, frog-free stitching experience. So I will probably, I will pick this up again soon just to verify that we are now frog-free for this particular project. So that was the new start that I had. And then I worked on just a couple of other whips since we last spoke. I worked on Ursula Michaels' Let's Do Wine, and left the pattern. Hold on, sorry, a second. Left it practically mid-stitch, sorry. This was my Friday night. I worked on this on Friday night. Here's where we're at now. Voila. So I finished the top of the words all the way up to the top, and I got this part of the border completed, and then I'm just working on this part of the border. So there we go. She's coming along. This is, I find this very relaxing to work on, even with all the color changes. I enjoy this one. So I'm sure it will come out again relatively quickly, because I think that will not be one that will take much time to finish, and I can wipe another 2018 whip off. The other thing I worked on briefly was on Christmas Eve. I worked on Miss Christmas Eve. Trisha, have you started yours yet? Did you start yours? I thought about tagging you, but I was nice and I didn't want to be annoying, so I didn't. Anyway, Miss Christmas Eve. This is, sorry, I have dogs with me in here today. This is on 32 count Tyco linen from Picture This Plus. Here's where she's at now. She also had a severe frog infestation to the point where I'll be fudging some of the green in her skirt. I'm not going to point it out. I doubt seriously you could find it if you saw it, even looking at the pattern, because it took me forever to figure out what the heck was going on and where I screwed up. I took out perfectly good stitches thinking they were in the wrong place and then put them back in the wrong place. And when I figured that out, I said, oh well, we'll fudge it. So anyway, so here we are now. I finished that big bow in the middle and then added more of the green, and yeah, you can, whatever. So she got her required time on Christmas Eve. Now, Christmas Eve was pretty busy, so she didn't get a whole lot of time. And the frog thing, I'm telling you, was driving me crazy. So she is on my list as a focus for 2019. We're going to get to that in just a minute. So, plans. It's not been quite a minute, but you get it. So, plans. So, I've been kind of waffling on a new year, new start this year. Obviously, I've been really good at closing and finishing stuff off that I didn't necessarily want to enter something new into the mix. And even something small, I wasn't really interested. But I did dive into one of my multiple buckets of kitted projects just to see if something sort of jumped out at me. I'm like, this is what I need to start. This is going to hold my interest. I'm going to get it done quickly, blah, 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 blah. And here's what I came up with. And I'm very excited. A year or so ago, I guess so. One of my very good friends and longtime stitching friends determined that she was no longer, due to eyesight issues, she was no longer going to be able to stitch. And so she essentially liquidated her entire stash. And I helped her. I helped her with that. And I was able to purchase a few of her whips. And I know I showed on the previous video, but that's fine. One of the whips that I purchased was a Mirabilia chart that I had not had and had been on the lookout for quite a while, and that is Deco Spirits. So I purchased her whip. So that's going to be my new year, new start. I have not made a single stitch on this whip. All of what I'm going to show you was done by my friend before she sold it, before she quit stitching. It's on 32 count white Belfast linen, and you can see it's about half done. It's just over half done. These first two boxes are completed, so I only have the bottom two. Only. Anyway, I have the bottom two left to complete. So this is going to be my new year, new start. I'm going to start putting stitches in this whip and make it mine. So, I love this piece. It's one of my favorites. I was so excited that she had it and I could get it. I would have just been happy with the chart. I'm thrilled to be able to finish her work. So, she stitches beautifully and always has. So, it's not going to be any great challenge to do it. So, that's plan number one. So, this will get stitches today in my lovely Marlene bag. My Marlene bag always has to have an active project. Okay, otherwise for 2019, again, one less whip on 12/31 that I have today. So today is 50. So I want to have no more than 49 on December 31st of 2019. I want to finish King Arthur's Court, one of my whips, by May 1st. So that's my second goal. I am going to try, I'm going to do Stitch from Stash, not from a financial perspective, but more from I have so much stuff and so many kitted projects that I'd like to start if I wanted a new start, if I want to do something new, I want to go to my stash first before I buy something to start, or before I start something I bought. So, and maybe I'll do a 2 stash starts before I buy 1 new purchase. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get that restrictive from a rules perspective, but I definitely want to focus more on stitching things that I know I have, which is kind of what I've been doing for the last few weeks anyway. Obviously, the big exception is the Cardinal Points, which I'm starting at the end of January, and I just bought that, but it had been on my wish list for quite a while, so that's going to kind of be in one of those gray areas. Obviously, Nashville in February, Nashville Market should be interesting. I will say that for the most part, it seems that there's been more primitive designs coming out of Nashville, more sampler style, which is something that I will do, but it is not the driving thing that's going to make me buy and start something immediately. So I'm going to say I'll probably be okay, but you just never know. You just never know. But that's going to be kind of what I want to do. The last thing is 19 finishes for 2019, but I've also picked 19 whips that I want to spend at least 2 weeks on during the course of 2019. I went through kind of my list because I have a spreadsheet that I keep track of my stitching days and my whips and all that. And I noticed that while I had made somewhat moderate progress as for touching whips this year, I had a lot to go. I didn't even make it halfway. So I'm not going to try to touch every whip in 2019, but I have identified 19 that I want to at least put in 2 weeks on. Now, you'll say, but Annette, there's 52 weeks in the year, which means you could choose 26 weeks. Well, I could, absolutely. But I'm not going to. I'm going to use those other 7 2-week periods as kind of a free slot. I have put all the whips on a decision wheel, including the 7 free slots. I'm not going to make the mistake that I did in October and only put 1 free slot and have it never show up. But I reserve the right to go off the wheel if there's something that I really want to work on, and then it's time for its 2 weeks, and I'm ready to start a 2-week block. Now, will I work on other things during that 2 weeks? Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, I may pull out a whip. I may decide, okay, I'm going to work on this whip, and I sit down and I put an hour, and I have no desire to touch it again for the rest of those 2 weeks. If that's the case, it'll probably go into timeout for a bit, and I'll work on something else during that time period. That's fine. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm not one that usually does a whole lot of planning, just because I have to do so much planning and tracking, and during work life, I don't really want to do it on my not work stuff. So, which is why I will never be a project manager, even though I do a lot of project management. So anyway, so that's kind of the thought. I have 19 whips that I've identified. Now I have the list, and we are, I'm going to show you some Christmas gifts that I got that are stitching related, one non-stitching related. And then we're going to go ahead and do my whip parade. So I'm going to go ahead and show you most of the 50. I think I got all 50. I should have all 50 whips. And at that point, I'll show you which ones I've got my list of 19. So we'll kind of confirm that as we go through, and I'll identify which ones those are. So, all right. Christmas. Christmas, Christmas. We had a lovely Christmas. What are you doing, Maxie? Max. Hey. Sorry. We had a lovely Christmas. It was us. Kylie and Scott were here. Of course, Zachary was here. Zachary's girlfriend came over for part of the day as well. One of the things that Kylie did for me for Christmas was she printed out one of the wedding pictures. So I'll show you. This was our wedding, one of the wedding pictures that we took in June. This is my mother, who lives in New Mexico. So that's Kylie and Scott in the middle. Zachary is standing behind Mom, and obviously you know, the other side. So I got a frame for that. So that was nice. Sorry, just a second. Today's mug is New Mexico. Hi, Mom. Tea, because it's been so cold. For Arizona, it's been cold. I know it's not, I know this would be a spring day for many of you, but for Arizona, this is cold. Okay, one of the things that I neglected in the last video to mention was this sweet card that I received as a thank you from Mika, our lovely darling Bluebell. I sent her a chart and some supplies for Mirabilia Bluebell when I saw that it was on her wish list. So I had already stitched it, so I sent some stuff to her. In addition to this lovely card, she sent me some of the flosses from her, the embroidery parties, from her LNS, both the cotton and the silk flosses, and they are just amazing. So here we go. Cotton. The long ones are the cotton, and the short ones are the silk. And they're gorgeous. They're just gorgeous. So I was very touched and pleased to receive that as a thank you, and I love the card. So thank you, Mika. I apologize for being so late to acknowledge that lovely gift. Christmas, like I said, Christmas was great. Pretty quiet, which was nice. I did receive stitching stuff from my family because they love me and they support me, and I am very blessed to have a family that not only acknowledges but encourages my habit of my stitching. The first thing was my mother sent me this chart for Dracula from the Little Stitcher. So very cool. And then my husband braved the attic. He went to attic needlework the weekend before Christmas, week before Christmas, because it's kind of a running joke about our stockings. So we do stockings in the family. Everybody gets a stocking on Christmas morning. And I fill all the stockings but mine. And it is my husband's responsibility to fill my stocking. And every year I have to give him a list of things, of suggestions of things to go in my stocking now. And every year he complains that my stocking is too small. So he always overbuys, even though the stocking has not changed size for as long as I can remember. I've had the exact same stocking for almost my entire life. So it's been the same size for all 21 years that we've been married. But that's okay. It's kind of a running joke now. And so I invariably get the stocking and the overflow bag that goes on top of it for stuff that he could not fit, that he bought that he could not fit. But this year, one of the things that I suggested to him was floss. I said floss. Floss is small. It's inexpensive. It's available in multiple places. So that would be a good thing to put in the stocking. And I suggested just DMC floss, you know, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Joann's. We have all of those here. Even Walmart. You can even get it at Walmart, right? Not that he goes into Walmart, but anyway. So where did he go? He went to the attic. Okay. Okay, I knew he was going. I had no idea what he bought. So here's what he bought. He did very, very well. Now, he did say that the shop was rather busy, so he picked out all of this on his own. He had no help from any of the gals at the shop. And again, it's busy. It's the week before Christmas, whatever. So the first thing he bought me was, he bought needles. Now, John James needles. There's a 22 and a 28. He did not know what size needles that I work with. He did not know. So 28 is perfect. 22 is actually perfect for counted canvas. So he did well. This was good. John James is not my usual brand, but I don't care. A needle is a needle. He also bought 2 pieces of fabric. And again, he does not know the counts of fabric that I work on. I'm sure I tell him it's just not something that he catches in his brain, right? He bought me a fat quarter of 40 count antique white Newcastle I love 40 count fabric. This is perfect. He also bought me a larger piece of 38 count Legacy linen in this lovely neutral filbert color. Legacy linen, one of my favorites. So for all the fabric that he had to choose from there, good. Could have picked Ada. I would have used it. That's fine. I would have found a use for it. But perfect. And then for the floss, are you sitting down? I hope you're sitting down. For the floss, again, he does not know what kind of floss I use. And obviously when you're walking into an LNS, you have many, many, many things to select from. Many, many different options. So he somehow found the most expensive floss in the place. He bought 3 colors of Tudor silk, which is commonly used on higher count fabrics, which I actually do have some 46 count fabric. So now I can get some 50 or better to try out the Tudor. And he bought me 8 cards of Belsoir in various colors. I did not give him a list. I did not. But here we go. They just hang on the wall. I'm sure he just went up there and said, oh, this is pretty, this is pretty. And he bought. Of course, there were reds. But yeah. Not bad. Not bad. Now, the one thing that I did ask for that he did purchase for me was an alt light for travel. Since hotel lighting is horrible. So that was definitely on my list. And so he did come through on that. So with that, I'm going to take a quick pause. You won't know anything, and we will dive into Whip Parade. So I'll be right back. Hey FlossTube, so I just recorded my Whip Parade and it was like 45 minutes. So I'm not going to tack that on to the end of this, which is already pushing a half an hour. So I'm going to create that as a separate video, so you'll see 2 coming out today, 40 and 41, with 41 being just the Whip Parade. I want to thank everyone for watching. I know you have tons of people that you can watch now. I mean, the list of videos that I watch and that I want to watch is just very large for the amount of time that I have to actually watch. So I know that we're all treading water on the video department trying to keep up, and so many new people every day, and so many people worth watching, and everyone is worth watching that takes the time to put in a video. I know exactly what it takes to do these things, so I appreciate everyone that does them, and I appreciate every one of you that watches. So much so that as a thank you for all of your support during 2018, I'd like to do just a thank you giveaway. I'll be doing a gift certificate to the LNS or shop of your choice in the amount of $50. So what I ask, so all the giveaway rules apply, right? Please be a subscriber. If you're not, like, I'm going to check, right? But please be a subscriber. If you've made it to the end of this video to find this giveaway, I'm pretty confident that either you are or you watch often enough, and that's fine. Question, answer a question. So here's my question. My question to please answer is favorite whip, right? Now, feel free to watch my Whip Parade and choose a favorite of my whips, either one that I've already shown in this video or one that you'll see in the Whip Parade video, or your favorite whip, either one. Either one. Just say, you know, my favorite whip or my current favorite whip or my future favorite whip if you haven't started it yet. And just give me a name and that will qualify you for the giveaway. And like I said, it'll be a $50 gift certificate. So anywhere in the world, any shop that I can actually buy a gift certificate from. I'll leave it open until I do my January update, which should be the last weekend in January. So we'll leave it up until then. Like I said, I know everybody's got plenty of people to watch and lots of videos, and I cannot express how grateful I am that you choose to spend some time with me every month. or whenever I record. So have a wonderful 2019. I am now off to start my new start for 2019 and to catch up on a rose parade, which is my favorite. So have a great day. Bye.